You're not stuck. You're blind. Not blind to the world. Blind to what controls you. You think you see everything, but you miss what matters. And that's why nothing changes. Listen carefully. This will make you uncomfortable. Your life isn't failing. Your observation is. You don't lose opportunities. You don't notice them. You don't repeat mistakes. You miss the pattern. And that pattern is running your life. You've felt this before. Working hard, but getting nowhere. Trying again, and ending in the same place. Different effort. Same result. That's not bad luck. That's blindness. You're not stuck. You're repeating. And the worst part, you don't even see it happening. People read you before you read them. Opportunities pass you before you notice them. Patterns control you before you question them. And you call it life. But it's not life. It's lack of awareness. This is where it breaks. You think your problem is effort, but actually it's perception. You think you need to do more, but actually you need to see more. Because the moment you see, everything changes. Your decisions change. Your behavior changes. Your outcomes change. Not because you tried harder, but because you noticed. And once you notice, you can't go back. So now ask yourself, what are you missing right now? What pattern is repeating that you still don't see? What opportunity already passed without you noticing? Think about it, because this video is not about observation. It's about realizing you've been living blind. Chapter 1. Something feels off. You're not stuck. You're blind. And that scares you, because deep down, you felt it before. That strange feeling that something is off. But you can't explain it. You try harder. You push more. You stay busy. But nothing changes. Not really. And you blame everything else. Your situation, your luck, other people. But never the one thing that's actually broken. Your observation. Listen carefully. This is where it begins. Your life didn't fall apart. You let it rot. Silently. Right in front of you. And you didn't notice. That's the part that hurts. Not failure. Not struggle. Blindness. You missed the signals. The small changes. The quiet warnings. The patterns repeating. You saw them, but you didn't see them. There's a difference. A dangerous one. You think you're aware, but you're just reacting, like everyone else. Wake up. Think about the last time something went wrong in your life. Failure, mistake, a missed chance. It didn't happen suddenly. It built up, piece by piece, moment by moment, and you were there the whole time, watching it happen, without understanding it. That's your pattern. You don't see clearly. You assume. You guess. You ignore. And then you suffer the result. You call it bad luck. But it's not. It's missed information. You didn't see what mattered. And now you pay for it. This is where it breaks. You believe effort is everything. Work harder. Stay consistent. Push through. That's what you've been told. But here's the truth. Hard work is useless. If you don't see what matters, let that hit you. You can run fast, in the wrong direction. You can work hard, on the wrong thing. You can fight, the wrong battle, and you'll lose. Not because you're weak, but because you're blind. You've felt this before. That moment, when you realize, I wasted my time. That wasn't failure. That was poor observation. And it's happening right now. Right now. There's something in your life, something important, that you are missing. You just don't see it yet. And that's the scary part. Because it's affecting everything. Your decisions, your relationships, your future, all being shaped by what you fail to notice. If this is hitting you, don't just listen, stay with it. Because most people will click away right now and stay blind. But not you. You're still here. So take 1 second and lock in. Subscribe to the channel, StarBeam Audiobook, because this is where you start seeing. And trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Pause for a second. Look at your life honestly. Why are you stuck in the same cycle? Why do the same problems keep coming back? Different faces, same outcomes, different situations, same result. That's not coincidence. That's a pattern. And patterns don't lie. You're just not reading them. You think life is random, but it's not. It's predictable. Painfully predictable. If you know how to observe. But you don't. Not yet. And that's why you feel lost. Because you're moving without seeing. Without understanding. Without awareness. Listen carefully. People see you better than you see yourself. That's the truth. They notice your habits, your behavior, your weaknesses, even the ones you hide. They read you, but you struggle to read them. And that imbalance is costing you everything. You walk into rooms thinking you're in control, but you're not. You're being observed, measured, understood, in seconds. And you don't even realize it. You think you're making impressions, but impressions are being made on you. This is where it gets uncomfortable. You've been exposed without knowing it. Your patterns are visible. Your habits are obvious. Your thinking is predictable. And people use that. Not always in a bad way, but they do. Because they see what you don't. And that gives them power. Power over decisions. Power over outcomes. Power over you. You've felt this before. That moment when someone understood you too quickly, too deeply, and it made you uncomfortable. That wasn't magic. That was observation. Something you've been ignoring. Now ask yourself, if others can read you, why can't you read yourself? Why can't you see your own patterns? Your own mistakes? Your own loops? Because you're too close, too emotional, too distracted, and most importantly, too untrained. Observation is a skill, and you never learned it. You trained yourself to react, not to observe. You scroll fast, think fast, judge fast, but you don't see deeply. You don't pause. You don't question. You don't analyze. So you miss everything that matters. And life punishes you for it. Not instantly, but eventually. That's why it feels confusing. Because the cause and the effect are far apart. You don't connect them. You can't see the chain. So you repeat it. And again. And again. This is your loop. Failure. Confusion. Repeat. And you think the answer is more effort. But it's not. It's awareness. You don't need to do more. You need to see more. This is the shift. And it's about to break you. Because once you see, you can't unsee. Once you notice, you can't ignore. And once you understand, you can't go back. That's the cost of real observation. It destroys your old self, piece by piece, and builds something new, something sharper, something aware. Something dangerous. This is where it turns. You're not just missing things. You're avoiding them. Avoiding. Because seeing clearly is uncomfortable. It forces responsibility. It removes excuses. It exposes truth. And truth is heavy. It shows you where you're wrong, where you're weak, where you've been lying to yourself. That's why you stay blind. Not because you can't see, but because you don't want to. Let that sink in. You already know the truth. You've seen flashes of it, moments of clarity, but you ignored them. Because they hurt. Because they challenged your identity. Because they demanded change. And you weren't ready. So you went back to comfort, to distraction, to blindness. But now, you can't run, because you see it. And once you see it, it starts to grow. Stronger, louder, impossible to ignore. This is the collapse. The moment where your old self starts to crack. And it will feel uncomfortable, confusing, but necessary. Because the version of you that couldn't observe, cannot win, cannot grow, cannot survive. So it has to go. Intense. You are the problem. Not your past. Not your situation. Not other people. Your blindness. Your patterns. Your lack of awareness. That's what's been holding you back. And now, you see it. Now decide. Do you stay the same? Or end this version of you? Chapter 2. You're not seeing reality. You didn't leave. That means something inside you knows this matters. Now listen carefully, because this is where it gets worse. You think you see reality, but you don't. You see a version of it, filtered, distorted, edited by your own mind. And you trust it like it's truth. That's the problem. You believe what you see, without questioning how you see it. And that's dangerous, because your mind lies to you, not loudly, but quietly, in small ways, that change everything. You felt this before. That moment, when you misunderstood someone. You thought they were rude, but they weren't. You thought they ignored you, but they didn't. You created a story, and believed it. That's your pattern. You don't see reality, you interpret it. And your interpretation is often wrong. Let that sink in. You are not reacting to life. You are reacting to your version of life. And that version is flawed. Listen carefully. Two people can see the same situation and experience completely different realities. Same moment, different meaning. But because perception isn't truth, it's construction, built from your past, your fears, your beliefs, your insecurities. That means this: you're not living in reality. You're living in a mental model. And that model is outdated. It was built years ago, from old experiences, old pain, old assumptions, and you never updated it. So now, you see the present through the past. That's why things feel off. Because they are. You're responding to ghosts, not what's actually happening. This is where it breaks. Think about the last time you overreacted. You felt attacked, disrespected, ignored. But later, you realized it wasn't that deep. That wasn't reality. That was your filter. And it tricked you. This happens more than you think. Daily. Silently. You walk into situations already biased, already expecting something, already judging. So you don't see clearly. You see what you expect to see, and ignore everything else. That's blindness. Not complete blindness, but selective blindness. And it's more dangerous, because you think you're aware, but you're not. You're just confident. And confidence without clarity is a trap. You felt this before. That moment when you were sure you were right, and later you found out you were wrong. Not slightly wrong, completely wrong. That's your reality collapsing. And it should scare you, because it means this: what else are you wrong about right now? Let that question sit. Don't rush it, because your mind will try to escape. It doesn't like uncertainty. It wants comfort. It wants to feel right, even if it's wrong. That's why you defend your views, even when they hurt you. That's why you repeat mistakes, even when you see the pattern. Because changing perception feels like losing identity. And your mind hates that. So it protects you with illusions, fake clarity, false certainty, distorted reality, and you accept it because it feels safe. But it's not. It's keeping you stuck. You're not stuck. You're repeating wrong interpretations, repeating false assumptions, repeating blind reactions. And again, and again. This is your loop. And now you see it. There's a part of it. But it goes deeper. Much deeper. Listen carefully. Your brain deletes information. Deletes it. Every second. Because reality is too much. Too complex. Too overwhelming. So your mind filters it. Keeps what it thinks matters. Ignores the rest. But here's the problem. It decides what matters, based on your past, not your future. So it throws away opportunities, misses signals, ignores important details, because they don't match your old beliefs. You didn't notice it then either. That opportunity you missed. It was there, right in front of you. But your mindset, not important. So you ignored it, and moved on. And now it's gone. This is happening constantly. Opportunities don't disappear. They get filtered out. By you. That's the truth. And it's uncomfortable. Because it means this. You are the reason. You don't see chances. Not luck. Not timing. Not other people. Your perception. Your filter. Your blindness. This is where it escalates. If your perception is wrong, then your decisions are wrong. And if your decisions are wrong, your life will be wrong. Not instantly, but eventually. That's why things feel off. Because they are built on distorted perception. You're building your life on a broken lens and expecting clarity. That's impossible. So what happens? You get frustrated. Confused, and you try harder, but nothing changes, because effort doesn't fix perception. Awareness does. This is the shift, and it's uncomfortable, because now, you can't trust your own mind. Not blindly. You have to question it, observe it, challenge it. That feels slow, annoying, unnatural, but it's necessary. Because your default thinking is flawed. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. Everyone has filters. Everyone has blind spots. But most people never question them. They live their whole lives inside a distorted reality and call it truth. You won't do that. Not anymore. Because now you see the crack. Now you feel the doubt. Now you question your perception. And that's the beginning of real observation. But it comes with a cost. You lose certainty. You lose comfort. You lose the illusion that you were always right. And in its place, you gain awareness, clarity, and control. But you're not there yet. Right now, you're in between. Between illusion and truth. Between comfort and clarity. And it feels unstable. That means it's working. Because growth doesn't feel safe. It feels uncertain. Like something is breaking. Because something is. Your old perception. Your old identity. The version of you that thought it saw clearly. It didn't. And now it's collapsing. This is where most people quit. They feel the discomfort and run back to ignorance. Back to easy thinking. Back to blind confidence. Don't do that. Stay here. Stay in the discomfort. Because on the other side is something powerful. The ability to actually see. To notice patterns. To read situations. To understand people. To catch opportunities before they disappear. That's control. Real control. Not forcing outcomes, but seeing clearly and choosing better. This is where it leads. But first, you have to go deeper. Because it's not just reality that you don't see clearly. It's yourself. And that's where it gets brutal. Chapter 3. Your brain filters everything. You stayed again. That means you're starting to feel it. The pressure. That discomfort. That quiet realization. Something isn't right. And now, it gets worse. Listen carefully. You think you choose what you see. But you don't. Your brain chooses for you. Every second. Without asking you. And that should scare you. Because it means this. You are not in control. Not fully. Not even close. You're being guided, filtered, directed, by something you barely understand. Your own mind. You felt this before. That moment, when someone points out something obvious, and you say, wait, how did I miss that? Exactly. It was always there. You just didn't see it. Not because it was hidden, but because it was filtered out. This is where it breaks. Your brain deletes most of reality. Not some of it, most of it. What you see right now is a tiny fraction, a small slice, of what actually exists. Let that sink in. You are walking through life, blind to most of it, and you don't even notice, because your brain makes it feel normal, comfortable, complete. But it's not. It's edited, carefully, silently, constantly, and you trust it. That's the dangerous part. You trust your perception, even though it's incomplete, even though it's biased, even though it's wrong. You already know the truth. You've experienced this. Think about the last time you lost something, your phone. It was right there, in front of you, but you couldn't see it, until suddenly, you did. What changed? The object didn't move. Your perception did. That's proof. You don't see what's there. You see what your brain allows. And that should shake you. Because if your brain can hide something small, it can hide something big, very big. Opportunities, patterns, warnings, even truth. This is happening right now. There is something in your life, important, valuable, that you are not seeing. Not because it's invisible, but because your brain filtered it out. And you moved on, like it didn't exist. That's how people miss chances. Not because they're unlucky, but because they're blind. Blind in a smart way, a convincing way, a dangerous way. Listen carefully. Your brain has one job: to keep you safe, not successful, not aware, not powerful. That means it avoids risk, avoids change, avoids discomfort, and anything that threatens your current identity gets filtered out, ignored, dismissed. That's why you don't see opportunities. Because opportunities often feel uncomfortable, uncertain, risky. So your brain says, not important. And you believe it, without questioning, without noticing, without realizing what you just lost. You didn't notice it then either. That moment, when something could have changed your life. Conversation, chance, an idea. You felt something, a small signal, but you ignored it, because it didn't feel safe. So you moved on, and now, it's gone. This is your pattern. Your brain filters, and you follow, without thinking, without seeing, without questioning. That's not control. That's autopilot. And autopilot is dangerous, because it feels normal. It feels easy. It feels right. But it's limiting you. Quietly. Every single day. You're not stuck. You're repeating. Repeating filtered thinking. Repeating safe choices. Repeating blind patterns. And again. And again. And you call it life. But it's not. It's a loop. A controlled loop. Designed by your own mind. This is where it escalates. If your brain controls what you see, then it controls what you believe. And if it controls what you believe, it controls what you do. And if it controls what you do, it controls your entire life. Let that hit you. You think you're making choices, but you're choosing from limited options, filtered options, pre-selected by your brain. So your freedom isn't real. It's restricted, and you didn't even notice. This is where most people stop. They feel this, and they get uncomfortable. So they distract themselves from anything to avoid this truth. But you're still here. So go deeper, because it gets clearer and harder. Listen carefully. Your brain doesn't just filter reality. It creates it. Fills in gaps, adds meaning, builds stories, even when they're not true. You see a look, you assume disrespect. You hear silence. You assume rejection. You notice delay. You assume failure. But those are just stories, built instantly by your mind. And you believe them, without proof, without awareness, without control. That's how your reality is formed, not by truth, but by interpretation. And your interpretation is flawed, because it's based on limited data, filtered data, distorted data. So your reality is not reality. It's a guess, a convincing guess, but still a guess. And you've been living inside it your whole life. This is the collapse. The moment you realize you don't see clearly, you don't choose freely, you don't understand fully, and that shakes you, because it breaks your identity. The version of you that thought it knew, that thought it understood, that thought it was aware. It wasn't. And now it's cracking. Let it crack. Because what replaces it is something stronger. But first, you have to accept this. You are being filtered. Right now. In this moment. There are things around you that you are not seeing, not noticing, not understanding. And they matter more than you think. That's the truth. And now you feel it. That tension, that curiosity, that question growing inside you. What am I missing? Hold on to that question. Don't escape it. Don't ignore it. Because that question is the beginning of awareness. And awareness is the beginning of control. But you're not there yet. Because next, you're going to see something harder. Not about reality, but about yourself. And it will break you. Chapter 4. You only see what you expect. You're still here. That means the illusion hasn't pulled you back yet. But now, it gets sharper, more uncomfortable. Because this part is personal. Listen carefully. You don't see what's real. You see what you expect. And expectation is your biggest distortion. It shapes everything. Before it even happens, you walk into a situation, already decided, this will go wrong. They don't respect me. This won't work. And guess what happens? You find proof. Every time. Not because it's true, but because you're looking for it. That's the trap. You don't observe. You confirm. You search for evidence that matches your belief. And ignore everything else. That's not awareness. That's bias. And it's controlling you. You've felt this before. Think about the last time you judged someone instantly. You saw how they looked, how they spoke, how they acted, and you decided, they're like this. But later, you realized you were wrong. Completely wrong. That's expectation. That blinds you first, then convinces you you're right. That's dangerous. Because it feels like clarity. But it's not. It's assumption. Disguised as truth. Listen carefully. Your expectations come from your past. Old experience, old pain, influence. They build patterns in your mind. And those patterns become predictions. And those predictions become your reality. Not actual reality. Your version of it. This is where it breaks. If you expect rejection, you'll notice every small sign. A delayed reply, a short answer, quiet tone, and you'll say, "See? I knew it." But you ignored the rest. Found the situation, the truth, because it didn't match your expectation. So you deleted it, filtered it out, without realizing. That's how your mind works. And now you see it. You're starting to. But it goes deeper. Much deeper. You don't just expect outcomes. You expect identities. About others. And about yourself. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because once you label something, you stop seeing it clearly. You see the label, not the truth. You felt this before. That moment, when you said, "This is just who I am." And stopped trying. Stopped questioning. Stopped growing. That's expectation locking you in. Not reality. You decided your limits. And now you live inside them. You expect failure. So you act safe. You expect struggle. So you don't take risks. You expect nothing to change. So nothing does. You're not stuck. You're repeating. Repeating expected outcomes. Repeating predicted failures. Repeating familiar pain. Because it feels known. And known feels safe. Even when it hurts. Comfort is your addiction. Not comfort of pleasure. Comfort of familiarity. Even if it's negative. Even if it's limiting. You choose what you expect. Over what is possible. And that's costing you everything. Listen carefully. Opportunities don't look obvious. They look uncertain. Messy. Different. And your brain hates that. Because it doesn't match expectations. So it ignores them. Filters them out. Dismisses them quickly. You didn't notice it then either. The chance. That idea. That moment. It didn't fit your expectations. So you skipped it. And moved on. And now it's gone. That's how you miss life-changing moments. Not by accident, but by expectation. This is where the doubt hits. Because now you're thinking, how many times have I been wrong? How much have I misjudged? How much did I miss? Stay with that feeling. Don't escape it. Because that doubt is breaking your false certainty. And you need that. You need to lose confidence in your automatic thinking, so you can rebuild real awareness. Because right now, your certainty is fake, built on assumptions, built on expectations, built on incomplete perception, and it's failing you. You see it now. That's why it feels uncomfortable, because your identity is built on what you believed, and now those beliefs are cracking. Let them break. Because what replaces them will be stronger. But first, you have to face this truth. You don't see what is. You see what you expect. And until that changes, nothing changes. Not your results. Not your decisions. Not your life. Everything stays the same. Different situations. Same outcomes. Different people. Same patterns. Different attempts. Same results. Because the problem is not outside. It's inside. Your perception. Your expectation. Your blindness. This is the breaking point where most people turn back. Because it's easier to believe you're right than to question everything. But you're still here. So go deeper. Because the next part will expose something worse. Not just how you see the world, but how the world sees you. And you won't like it. Chapter 5. You've been missing everything important. Now it starts to hurt. Because now, you're not just confused. You're starting to realize what this has cost you. Listen carefully. You haven't just been blind. You've been missing everything important. Not small things, big things, moments that mattered, decisions that shaped your future, opportunities that could have changed everything. And you didn't even see them. That's the part that hits. Not failure, but missed chances. Chances you never knew existed. You felt this before. That strange regret. When you look back and think, I should have done that. I should have seen that. I should have noticed. But you didn't. And now, it's too late. That moment is gone. And you can't go back. That's the cost of blindness. It doesn't just affect the present. It steals your future. Quietly. Without warning. Without permission. And you only realize it after it's gone. This is where it breaks. Think about your life. Seriously, how many times did you miss something important? A chance to speak, a chance to act, a chance to move, and you hesitated, ignored it, dismissed it, because it didn't look obvious. It didn't feel certain. It didn't match your expectations. So you skipped it and moved on. And now, you wonder what would have happened. That question will stay with you, because you'll never know. And that's painful, because deep down, you feel it, that it mattered, that it could have changed things, that it was important. But you didn't notice it then either. You didn't see it. You didn't understand it. You didn't act on it. And now it's gone. This is your pattern. Regret later. Regret later. And again. And again. You're not stuck. You're repeating. Repeating missed opportunities. Repeating delayed awareness. Repeating late realization. Always too late. And you call it bad luck. But it's not. It's blindness. And now, you're starting to feel the weight of it. All those moments, stacked behind you. Invisible at the time. Obvious now. That's how it works. Clarity comes after loss. Not before. Unless you train observation. And you didn't. So you paid the price. Listen carefully. You didn't just miss opportunities. You missed signals. Warnings. Red flags. Things that could have saved you. But you ignored them. Because they were subtle. Quiet. Uncomfortable. So you pushed them away. And kept going. And then, the consequence hit. And you said, I didn't see this coming. But it was coming. For a long time. You just didn't notice. That's the truth. And it's uncomfortable. Because it means this. You could have avoided pain. You could have made better choices. You could have changed outcomes. But you didn't. Not because you're unlucky, but because you didn't see clearly. This is where the regret deepens. Because now, you start connecting the dots. You start seeing patterns across your past. Same mistakes. Different situations. Same blindness. Different consequences. And it hits you. It wasn't random. It was you. Your perception. Your lack of awareness. That's what's been holding you back. Not your effort. Not your ability. Not your potential. Your observation. That's the missing piece. That's what you failed to notice. Even about yourself. And now, it's all coming together. The confusion, the frustration, the feeling of being stuck. It all makes sense now. You weren't doing the wrong things. You were missing the right ones. That's the difference. And it changes everything. Because now, you can't unsee it. You can't ignore it. You feel it. The pressure. That regret. That question burning inside you. What did I lose without knowing? And the answer's more than you think. More than you can count. More than you want to admit. That's the cost of not observing, of not noticing, of not being aware. But this is where it shifts, because regret can break you or wake you up, and right now, it's doing both. Let it hurt, let it sit, let it stay, because that pain is forcing you to see, forcing you to question, forcing you to change. And that's what you need, because the version of you that kept missing everything cannot continue. It has to end, and it will, right here, where you go back to the same loop, same blindness, same missed chances, same regret, and again, and again. Now decide, do you keep missing your life, or finally start seeing it? Because what comes next will force you to face something deeper, not what you missed, but why you keep missing it, and that answer will break you even more. Chapter 6, people see you better than you see them. You're not stuck. You're blind, not confused, not unlucky, not even lost, just blind. And that scares you, because you've been trying, you've been working, hoping something clicks, but nothing changes. Same days, same mistakes, same results. And you keep asking, why is this happening to me? Wrong question. The real question is, what are you not seeing? Right in front of you? Listen carefully. This is where it starts breaking. Your life didn't fall apart. You let it rot. Not with bad decisions, but with missed ones. The ones you didn't even notice. That moment when someone showed you respect and you ignored it. That opportunity that felt small, so you walked past it. That person who slowly lost interest while you thought everything was fine. You didn't see it. You never do. And that's the problem. You think life hits you suddenly, but it doesn't. It whispers first. Boys. Tiny signals. Small shifts. Quiet changes. But you're too distracted, too comfortable, too automatic. So you miss everything. And then one day, everything collapses. And you call it bad luck. But it was visible the whole time. You just weren't looking. You felt this before. Think about the last time something went wrong in your life. Friendship. A goal you failed. It didn't happen instantly. It built slowly, piece by piece, clue by clue. And you missed all of them. You didn't notice the tone change. You didn't notice the distance growing. You didn't notice your own habits slipping. Because you weren't observing. You were reacting. There's a difference. And that difference is destroying your life. You're not stuck. You're repeating. Same blindness. Different situations. And you keep thinking, this time will be different. But you're still the same observer. Which means, same outcome. Comfort is your addiction. You don't want to see clearly. Because seeing clearly hurts. It forces you to admit, you ignored the signs. You let things slide. You chose not to notice. And now you pay for it. But this goes deeper. Much deeper. Because it's not just events. It's people. People see you better than you see yourself. Let that sink in. They notice your tone, your hesitation, your insecurity, your fake confidence. They read it instantly. While you're still trying to figure yourself out. You walk into a room, thinking you're in control. But you're already being judged, measured, understood, before you even speak. And you don't even realize it. That's how blind you are. You think you're hiding things, but you're not. Your body exposes you. Your eyes expose you. Your silence exposes you. Everything about you is loud. Except you. Because you don't observe yourself. You live inside your head. While others watch from outside. And they see patterns. Clear patterns. You always hesitate before speaking. You laugh when you're nervous. You avoid eye contact when unsure. You try too hard when you want approval. They see it all, and you don't. That's dangerous. Because the moment you're predictable, you're controllable. People know how to influence you, how to push you, how to ignore you. And you think it's random. It's not. It's observation. Their observation is sharper than yours. That's why they win. That's why they move ahead. That's why they control situations. While you sit there, confused, wondering what just happened. You didn't notice it then either, did you? That conversation, where you lost respect. That moment, where you said too much, or too little. That reaction, that exposed your weakness. You missed it, but they didn't. And now your position changed. Silently, without warning. And you still think, it just happened. It was built, right in front of you. This is where it gets uncomfortable. Because now, you can't blame luck. You can't blame others. You can't even blame timing. Because the truth is simple. You didn't see. And life punishes blindness. Every time. You already know the truth. You felt it. That strange moment, where something felt off. But you ignored it. That tiny voice, saying, pay attention, and you silenced it. Because it's easier. Easier to stay unaware. Easier to stay comfortable. Easier to not question reality. But comfort has a cost. And you're paying it right now. With confusion. With frustration. With stagnation. And deep down, you know something is wrong. You just can't see what. That's the trap. And it gets worse. Because your brain is not designed to show you truth. It's designed to protect you. It filters reality, cuts information, distorts signals. So you only see what feels safe, what feels familiar, what you expect. And that's where everything breaks. You don't see reality. You see your version of it. And your version is incomplete, biased, and dangerously wrong. You think you understand people, but you don't. You think you understand situations, but you don't. You think you understand yourself, but you really don't. And that gap between reality and perception is where your life is collapsing. Slowly, quietly, right now. Don't skip this, because this is where it shifts. You're starting to feel it, that discomfort, that pressure, that realization. I've been missing things. More than you think, more than you want to admit. And we haven't even reached the worst part. Because missing things is one level. But misunderstanding them, that's destruction. You don't just fail to see. You see wrong. You misread signals. You misjudge people. You misinterpret situations. And then you act on those wrong assumptions. That's how you destroy opportunities. Without even knowing. That job you didn't apply for. Because you thought you weren't ready. Wrong observation. That person you avoided. Because you assumed they didn't care. Wrong observation. That risk you didn't take. Because it felt risky. Wrong observation. You're not lazy. You're misinformed. By your own perception. And that's more dangerous. Because you trust it. You trust your view of reality. Even when it's wrong. That's why you repeat mistakes. Because to you, they don't look like mistakes. They look like right decisions. Think about that. Let it hit you. You're making wrong moves that feel right. And that's why you're stuck. Chapter 7. You're reacting, not observing. You stayed. That means something inside you is starting to wake up. But now it gets harder. Because awareness, without control, feels like torture. You're starting to see patterns, but you still react. Automatically. Without thinking. Without choosing. And that's the next problem. You're not living consciously. You're reacting unconsciously. Every single day. Someone says something. You respond instantly. No pause. No observation. Just reaction. A situation changes. You panic. You adjust emotionally. Not logically. Just reaction. You see an opportunity, and instead of analyzing, you hesitate, or overthink, or ignore. Reaction again. Listen carefully. This is where it breaks. You think you're making decisions, but you're not. You're following patterns. Pre-built. Deep inside you. Old habits. Old fears. Old beliefs. Running your life. Without permission. Without awareness. And you call that yourself. It's not you. It's programming. You're not stuck. You're repeating. The same emotional loops. The same mental shortcuts. The same blind reactions. Over and over again. You felt this before. That moment where you said something and instantly regretted it. But it was too late. Because you didn't pause. You reacted. That decision you made quickly because it felt right. And later, it cost you because it wasn't right. It was familiar. There's a difference. Familiar feels safe, but safe is not always correct. And you confuse the two. That's why you stay stuck. Blind and reactive. Think about the last argument you had. Did you observe or react? Did you listen fully or wait to respond? Did you understand or defend? Be honest. You reacted almost instantly because slowing down feels uncomfortable and your brain avoids discomfort. So it chooses speed over clarity, reaction over observation. And that's how control is lost. Not in big moments. In small ones. Everyday moments. Micro decisions. Micro reactions. Micro mistakes. Stacking. Building. Until your life reflects them. And you wonder why things feel off. This is why. You didn't notice it then either. That pattern of interrupting people. That habit of checking your phone. That tendency to avoid hard things. That urge to escape discomfort. All reactions. All automatic. All unobserved. And all shaping your future. Right now. You already know the truth. You've seen glimpses. Tiny flashes of awareness. Moments where you thought, why did I do that? That's observation trying to wake up. But you shut it down. You move on. You distract yourself. You go back to autopilot. Because facing it means changing. And change feels like danger. So you stay the same. Comfort is your addiction. Even when it hurts you. Even when it limits you. Even when it slowly destroys you. Because at least it's familiar. At least it's predictable. But predictable is exactly why you're stuck. Because nothing new enters your life. Same reactions. Same results. Different day. And you keep hoping something changes. Without changing how you observe. Impossible. Nothing changes. Until observation changes. Let that hit you. Not effort. Not motivation. Not discipline. Observation. Because observation controls direction. And direction controls outcome. You've been working hard in the wrong direction. Because you couldn't see clearly. That's why effort feels useless. That's why progress feels slow. That's why frustration builds. You're running fast. But blind. And speed. Without vision. Leads to collision. Every time. Now ask yourself. Right now. In this moment. How many things are you reacting to? Without noticing? Your breathing. Your thoughts. Your emotions. Your surroundings. You don't see them. They just happen. and you follow. Like a script. Pre-written. Predictable. Controllable. That's the scary part. If you can't observe yourself, you can't control yourself. And if you can't control yourself, someone else will. Or something else. Habits. Environment. Other people. Algorithms. They'll guide you, without you realizing. And you'll call it choice. It's not choice. It's reaction. You didn't notice it then either. How your mood changes your decisions. How your fear limits your actions. How your past controls your present. All invisible, until you observe. This is where frustration builds. Because now, you're starting to see it. And it's everywhere. Your reactions are everywhere. Leaking into everything. Your conversations. Your work. Your relationships. Your future. All shaped by things you never questioned. And that realization is heavy. Because now, you can't go back. You can't unsee it. You can't pretend anymore. You see the pattern. And the pattern is you. You are the problem. Not your past. Not your situation. Not your luck. Your reactions. Your blindness. Your refusal to observe. That's what's holding you back. And deep down, you know it. You always did. You just avoided it. But now, it's right in front of you. Unavoidable. And uncomfortable. Because discomfort means you're finally seeing. And seeing is the beginning of control. But you're not in control yet. Not even close. Because awareness alone doesn't fix anything. It just exposes everything. Now comes the hard part. Can you stop reacting? Can you pause? Before speaking? Before deciding? Before feeling? Or will you fall back into autopilot? Like always. This is where most people fail. They notice, then forget, see, then ignore. They wake up, then go back to sleep. Don't do that. Not this time. Because this is where your life changes. Or stays the same. No middle ground. You're not stuck. You're reacting. And until that stops, nothing improves. Nothing shifts. Nothing grows. Only repetition. Only frustration. Only regret. So the real question is, can you break it? Can you interrupt your own pattern? Can you observe before you react? Or are you too far gone? Too conditioned? Too automatic? Too blind? To stop? Be honest. Because the next part will decide everything. Chapter 8. Your life is a pattern you never noticed. Now it gets uncomfortable. Because what you're about to see has been there for years. Right in front of you. Hiding in plain sight. Your life is not random. It's a pattern. A loop. A cycle. Repeating. Over and over again. And you never noticed. Not once. Listen carefully. This is where it breaks. You think each situation is new. But it's not. Different people. Same outcome. Different goals. Same failure. Different attempts. Same result. That's not coincidence. That's a pattern. And patterns don't lie. They expose you. You felt this before. That strange moment where something feels familiar, even though it's different. It's not different. It's the same pattern, wearing a new face. You didn't notice it then either, that you always start strong, then lose focus. That you get excited, then slowly disappear. That you commit, then pull back. Same rhythm. Same cycle. And again. And again. Think about your goals. How many did you start? How many did you finish? Be honest. There's a gap. A clear gap. Between intention and execution. That is your pattern. You don't fail randomly. You fail predictably. At the same stage. At the same pressure point. At the same emotional level. Every time. And you never questioned it. Just said, This time will be different. But you brought the same pattern. So nothing changed. You're not stuck. You're repeating. Look at your relationships. Same story. Different names. First, everything feels good. Natural. Then slowly, things shift. Communication drops. Energy changes. Distance grows. And you act surprised. But it's your pattern. You stop observing. You stop adjusting. You go on autopilot. And the connection fades. Not suddenly, gradually, predictably. You just didn't see it. Look at your habits. Same cycle. You try to change. For a few days. Maybe weeks. Then something happens. Just discomfort. Boredom. And you snap back. Old habits return. Stronger. Faster. Automatic. Like nothing changed. Because nothing did. The pattern stayed. You only changed the surface. Not the system. And patterns live in the system. Not the surface. Let that sink in. You've been fighting symptoms, while the pattern stays untouched. That's why nothing sticks. That's why progress disappears. That's why you feel stuck. But you're not stuck. You're predictable. That's worse. Because predictable means your future is already decided. If nothing changes, think about that. If you keep the same patterns, you already know the outcome. Next month, next year, 5 years from now. Same cycles. Same struggles. Same frustration. Just older. Just more tired. That should scare you. Because it's real. And deep down, you know it's true. You already know the truth. You've seen hints of it. Moments where you thought, why does this keep happening? That question was the doorway. But you didn't enter. You ignored it. You distracted yourself. You blamed something else. And the pattern continued. Unchallenged. Unseen. Untouched. Until now. Now you're starting to see it. The repetition. The loops. The structure behind your life. And it's uncomfortable. Because comfort is what kept you blind. This is where shock hits. Because now, you can trace it. You can connect the dots. That failure links to that habit. That habit links to that reaction. That reaction links to that belief. And suddenly, everything makes sense. Not in a good way. In a heavy way. Because now, you can't say, I didn't know. Now you see the pattern. Obvious. Repeating. And that leads to one question. Tom, how long has this been happening? Years? Since school? Since childhood? Since the first time you avoided discomfort? You don't even know. Because you never observed. You just lived inside it. Blind to it. Controlled by it. Defined by it. That's the real trap. Your identity is built on patterns. And if the patterns are broken, your identity shakes. That's why change feels scary. Not because it's hard, but because it threatens who you are. If you're not the one who quits, then who are you? If you're not the one who hesitates, then who are you? If you're not the one who avoids, then who are you? You don't know. That's the fear. So you stay the same. You protect the pattern, even when it hurts you, even when it limits you, even when it destroys your future. Because at least it's familiar. Comfort is your addiction. Even when it's painful, even when it's holding you back. You choose it. Again, and again, and again. You didn't notice it then either. How you justify your patterns. How you explain them away. How you say, this is just how I am. But that's not who you are. That's what you repeat. Big difference. Who you are can change. What you repeat will not. Unless you see it. Unless you break it. Unless you stop reacting and start observing. This is where it peaks. Because now, you see the pattern. You feel it. You recognize it. in real time, in your thoughts, in your actions, in your decisions, everywhere. And it's overwhelming, because it's constant. There is no break, no escape, just awareness. And awareness, without change, feels like pressure, like being trapped inside your own mind, watching yourself repeat, again, and again, and again, until something breaks. And something will break, either the pattern, or you. There is no third option. Listen carefully. This is where everything shifts, because the next step is dangerous. You're about to question your identity, not your habits, not your actions, your identity, who you think you are. Because if your life is patterns, then your identity is just a collection of them. And if the patterns are flawed, then what does that make you? Think about that. Don't answer quickly. Let it sit. Let it hit. Because the next part will force a choice. And most people avoid it. Chapter 9. This version of you is blind. You made it this far. Which means you can't go back now. Because now, it's not about your habits. It's not about your mistakes. It's about you. Who you think you are, and who you actually are. Two different things. And that gap is where everything is breaking. Listen carefully. This is where it shatters. You've built an image of yourself in your head, a version that feels right, feels comfortable, feels true, but it's not accurate. It's filtered, edited, distorted to protect you. You see yourself as aware, but you miss obvious patterns. You see yourself as smart, but repeat dumb decisions. You see yourself as in control, but react to everything. That's the contradiction. And it's been there for years. Hidden, ignored, untouched, until now. You felt this before. That moment, when reality didn't match your self-image. When someone called you out. When something failed unexpectedly. When you couldn't explain your own behavior. That discomfort, that confusion, that slight panic, that was the crack in your identity. But you patched it quickly. You made excuses. You blamed something else. You moved on, because facing it would mean changing how you see yourself. And that's painful. So you stayed the same. But now, you can't hide, because now you see the pattern. And the pattern points to one thing. This version of you is blind. Not sometimes. Consistently. Predictably. Dangerously blind. You don't see clearly. You don't think clearly. You don't act consciously. You react. You assume. You repeat. And then you justify. That's your loop. And you call it your personality. It's not. It's your limitation. You're not stuck. You're repeating. But now it gets worse. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Every action, every thought, every reaction starts exposing you. In real time, you notice your hesitation. You notice your fear. You notice your excuses. You notice your patterns. And it's uncomfortable. Because now, there's no illusion left. No fake control. No fake confidence. Just truth. Unfiltered. And heavy. This is where most people quit. Not physically. Mentally. They turn away. They distract themselves. They go back to comfort. Because this level of awareness is too much. But if you stay here, if you don't run, something powerful happens. Your identity starts breaking. Piece by piece. The version of you believed in starts collapsing. And it feels like losing yourself. Because it is. You're losing the illusion. The story. The false sense of control. Everything you thought was you. And that creates fear. A deep one. Because now the question appears. If this version of me is wrong, then who am I? Sit with it. Don't rush it. Don't escape it. Because this question is the turning point. Most people never reach it. They stay in patterns. They stay in illusion. They stay blind. But you're here now. And now you see it. Your identity was built on unobserved patterns, unquestioned behaviors, automatic reactions. And now, they don't feel solid anymore. They feel unstable. Because you're aware. Awareness breaks identity. And that's necessary. Because you can't rebuild without breaking first. Listen carefully. This is where it goes deeper. You didn't choose this version of you. It was formed over time, by repetition, by environment, by experiences you never analyzed. You became this without noticing, and now you're living it without questioning. That's the danger, because if it was built unconsciously, it will run unconsciously, unless you interrupt it, unless you observe it, unless you destroy it. And that's where you are now, right at the edge, between staying the same or breaking everything. There is no comfort here, only choice. And choice requires awareness, real awareness, not surface level, not "I understand." Deep awareness, the kind that makes you uncomfortable, the kind that forces change, the kind that doesn't let you go back. You didn't notice it then either. How you defend your identity, how you protect your patterns, how you resist change, even when you know better. That's the system fighting back. Because your brain wants stability, not truth. And truth is shaking everything right now. Let it shake. Let it break. Let it collapse. Because what comes next requires this version of you to end. Not improve. Not adjust. Intense. You don't fix your life. You replace who you are. Completely. Not partially. Not temporarily. Fully. Because partial change keeps the pattern alive. And the pattern will always win. Unless it's destroyed. At the root. And the root is your identity. This version of you cannot create a different life. It will recreate the same one. Again. And again. And again. Different details. Same structure. Same outcomes. Same frustration. Unless something changes. And that something is you. Not your actions. Not your goals. This is where it peaks. Because now you face reality. You are the source of your patterns, of your reactions, of your blindness. And that means you are also the solution. But only if you're willing to let this version go. Completely. No attachment. No excuses. No delay. Because the longer you hold on, the stronger the pattern stays. And the harder it becomes to break. So now, we reach the moment. The real one. Not motivation. Not inspiration. Decision. Now decide. Do you stay this version? Predictable? Repeating? Or do you end it? Right here. Right now. And become someone who actually sees. Who actually observes. Who actually controls. Because the next step is not awareness. It's reconstruction. A new way of seeing. A new way of thinking. A new way of being. Built from observation. Not reaction. But that only happens if this version ends. Completely. Chapter 10. You can't fix what you can't see. You're not stuck. You're blind. You keep moving, but you don't see. You keep trying, but you don't notice. And that's why nothing changes. Because effort without awareness is just noise. Listen carefully. This is where it breaks. You think your problem is action, but it's not. It's perception. You're looking, but not seeing. Hear, but not understanding. But not noticing. And that's dangerous. Because the things you don't notice control everything. Your decisions, your habits, your failures. You're not stuck. You're repeating. You've felt this before. That strange frustration. Working hard, but getting nowhere, trying again, and failing again. And deep down, you feel it. Something is off. But you can't explain it, because you can't see it. And that's the trap. The trap isn't laziness. It's blindness. You don't miss opportunities. You ignore them. You don't fail randomly. You repeat patterns. You don't lack effort. You lack awareness. And that changes everything. Think about the last time something went wrong. You blamed the situation. You blamed people. You blamed timing. But you didn't look deeper. You didn't notice the pattern. Because if you did, it would hurt. It would break your identity. And you avoid that. So you stay blind. Comfort is your addiction. Not comfort of success. Comfort of ignorance. Because seeing the truth means changing yourself. And you're not ready for that. Not yet. But you will be. After this. Listen carefully. People read you better than you read them. They see your hesitation, your insecurity, your patterns. Before you even realize them, they notice your tone, your pauses, your reactions, and they adjust while you stay unaware. That's why they win. Not because they're smarter, but because they see more. And you don't. You walk into rooms thinking you understand everything, but you don't even understand yourself. You react without noticing why. You speak without thinking how. You decide without seeing patterns. And then you wonder why your life looks the same. And over again. You're not stuck. You're repeating. This is where it breaks. Your life is not random. It's a loop. A silent, invisible loop. Same choices, different days. Same mistakes, different faces. Same results. Every time. And you didn't notice. You thought it was bad luck. But it wasn't. It was pattern blindness. You felt this before. Meeting the same type of people. Facing the same type of problems. Making the same type of decisions. And ending in the same place. But you ignored it. Because noticing it would mean one thing. You are the pattern. Not the world. Not the situation. And that's hard to accept. So you stay blind. You distract. You avoid. Because awareness is uncomfortable. It exposes everything. Your habits. Your weaknesses. Your repeated failures. Everything you tried to hide from yourself. Listen carefully. This is not about motivation. This is about survival. Because if you don't see, you can't change. And if you can't change, you stay trapped. Forever. You can't fix what you can't see. Let that sink in. You can't fix what you refuse to notice. And that's your life right now. Trying to fix outcomes without seeing causes. Changing actions without understanding patterns. Moving forward while blind. And you wonder why it never works. Because you're solving the wrong problem. You think it's effort. It's not. You think it's discipline. It's not. It's awareness. And you don't have it. Not fully. Not deeply. Not honestly. You already know the truth. You've seen glimpses. Small moments where everything made sense. Where you realized, I've done this before. But you ignored it. You moved on. You distracted yourself. Because staying there would change you. And change is uncomfortable. So you stayed the same. Now look at your life. Same struggles. Same confusion. Same frustration. Different day. Same pattern. You're not stuck. You're repeating. This is where it breaks. You think awareness is simple. Just pay attention, right? That's a lie. Real observation is brutal. It forces you to see things you don't want to see. It shows you patterns you've been hiding from. It exposes your behavior in raw form. No excuses. No filters. no comfort. And that's why most people avoid it. They'd rather stay blind than face themselves. Because once you see, you can't unsee. Once you notice, you can't ignore. Once you understand, you must change. And change is painful. Identity breaking painful. Because the version of you, right now, is built on blindness, on missed patterns, on ignored signals, on unconscious behavior. And if you see clearly, that version dies. Completely. Intense. You are the problem. Not your past. Not your situation. Not other people. Your blindness. Your lack of awareness. Your repeated patterns. That's the truth. And it hurts. But it's also freedom. Because if you're the problem, you can become the solution. But only if you see. Only if you notice. Only if you stop lying to yourself. Listen carefully. This is the turning point. You don't fix your life. You replace who you are. You replace blindness with awareness. You replace reaction with observation. You replace patterns with conscious choice. But it starts with one thing. Seeing. Really seeing. Not what you want, but what is. Your habits. Your reactions. Your patterns. Your reality. Without filters. Without excuses. Without denial. And that's where power begins. Not in action, but in awareness. Because when you see clearly, everything changes. You notice patterns early. You adjust faster. You respond smarter. You stop repeating mistakes. You stop living on autopilot. And for the first time, you take control. Not fake control. Real control. Built on awareness. Built on truth. Built on observation. And suddenly, life looks different. Not easier, but clearer. And clarity is power. Now decide. Do you stay blind and repeat everything again? Or do you see and end this version of you? Chapter 11. Observation is control. You're still here, but that means something clicked. Not fully, but enough. Enough to feel it. That uncomfortable shift inside your mind, where things don't feel the same anymore, where you can't unsee certain patterns, where ignorance starts breaking. Listen carefully. This is where it changes. You were reacting, but you're starting to see. And that difference is everything. You thought control meant forcing actions, pushing harder, trying more, doing more. But that never worked. Because control was never about effort. It was about awareness. You don't control your life through action. You control it through observation. Let that sink in. The moment you see clearly, you stop being controlled by habits, by emotions, by patterns. Because now, you notice them. And what you notice, you can change. What you ignore controls you. You felt this before. That moment when you almost caught yourself about to react, but something paused you. A small gap, a small awareness. And for a second, you saw it. Your behavior, your pattern, your automatic reaction. But then, you lost it. You went back to autopilot. Because you weren't trained to stay aware. Now you are. Now you're starting to see the gap between stimulus and response, between trigger and action. And inside that gap is control. Real control. Not fake motivation. Not temporary discipline. Control. Because now, you don't react instantly. You observe first. You notice tone, energy, intentions, patterns. Not just in others, but in yourself. And that's where power grows. So, private, but permanently. Listen carefully. Most people never reach this point. They stay blind forever. Without noticing, repeating, without understanding, without awareness. But you're different now. Not special, just aware. And awareness changes everything. You walk into a room, you don't just see people. You notice behavior. Who is confident? Who is pretending? Who is observing? And who is reacting? You see patterns others miss. You hear things others ignore. And suddenly, you understand more. Without trying harder. Without forcing anything. Because observation does the work. You're not stuck. You're repeating. But now, you can see the repetition. And that breaks it. Think about that. The same patterns that controlled your life lose power the moment you notice them. That's how fragile they are. They survive only in your blindness, not in your awareness. So the question changes. Not, how do I fix my life? What am I not seeing right now? That question becomes your weapon, your default, your way of thinking. Every situation, you pause, you observe, you notice patterns, and then you act. Not before, never before, because reaction is weakness, observation is control. This is where it breaks. Bulger reacted fast. He observes first. Bulger missed patterns. He hunts them. Bulger was controlled. He takes control, not by force, but by awareness. You already know the truth. You've seen enough now to feel it. Is permanent. You can't go back to being fully blind. You'll notice things now. Small details, repeated behaviors, hidden signals, and it will feel strange at first, because awareness changes how you see everything. People, conversations, decisions, even yourself, especially yourself. And that's where it gets real. Because observing others is easy. Observing yourself is brutal. But that's where control lives. You watch your thoughts, not follow them. You see your emotions, not become them. You notice your habits, not obey them. And slowly, you separate from your old patterns. They lose control because you see them coming before they take over. That's power. Quite invisible, but absolute. Listen carefully. This is not a phase. This is a shift. A new way of existing. Where awareness comes before action. Where observation comes before judgment. Where control comes from clarity. And once you build this, nothing feels the same again. You don't rush. You don't react blindly. You don't repeat patterns unconsciously. Because you see. You actually see. And that changes everything. Now imagine this. What happens if you master this? If observation becomes automatic. If awareness becomes constant. If you see patterns instantly. In people, in situations, in yourself. You stop wasting time. You stop making blind decisions. You stop repeating mistakes. You move differently. Smarter. Sharper. Calmer. Because you're not guessing anymore. You're seeing. And people will feel it. They won't understand it. But they'll notice. Your presence. Your calm. Your awareness. Because most people don't have it. They're still reacting. Still blind. Still repeating. But you stepped out of that. Not fully, but enough. Enough to change direction. Enough to take control. Enough to become different. Now decide. Do you go back to reacting, to comfort, to blindness? Or do you continue and master this? Because this path doesn't stop here. This is just the beginning. Observation is control, and control changes everything. Chapter 12. Now it's your move. You made it here. Most people don't. They hear, but they don't listen. They feel, but they don't change. You stayed. And now, you can't pretend anymore. Because you see it. Not everything, but enough. Enough to know your life isn't random. Enough to know you've been missing things. Enough to know you've been blind. Listen carefully. This is the final moment. No more theory. No more thinking. This is decision. Right now. Not later. Not tomorrow. Because every time you delay, you go back. Back to patterns. Back to comfort. Back to blindness. And you've done that before. You've felt this before. That moment of clarity, where everything made sense. Where you said, this time is different. And then, you forgot. You slip back. You return to autopilot. Because change requires awareness. And awareness requires effort. Not physical effort. Mental effort. Constant noticing. Constant questioning. Constant observing. And most people won't do that. They choose easy. They choose comfort. They choose blindness. But you're here. Which means you have a choice. A real one. Not fake motivation. Not temporary hype. A real shift. Stay the same or evolve. There is no middle. You can't kind of see. You either notice or you don't. You either observe or you react. You either wake up or stay asleep. That's it. This is where it breaks. Everything you've heard comes down to this. One decision. Not big, but consistent. To notice. And again. And again. In small moments. In quiet moments. In moments no one sees. That's where change happens. Not in big actions. Not in loud decisions. In awareness. Repeated awareness. You catch a thought. You notice a reaction. You pause before speaking. You observe instead of assuming. Small shifts, but powerful, because they break patterns. And patterns build your current life. So breaking them builds a new one. You're not stuck. You're repeating. But now, you see it. And that changes everything. Listen carefully. This will not feel exciting. It won't feel like motivation. It will feel uncomfortable, slow, awkward, because you're learning to see. And seeing takes time. First, you'll miss things. You'll forget to observe. You'll fall back into old reactions. That's normal. But now, you'll notice it. After it happens. Then sooner. Then during. And eventually, before. That's the shift. From unconscious to aware. From reactive to intentional. From blind to observant. And once you reach that, you don't go back. Because you can't. You've seen too much. You've noticed too much. You've understood too much. And ignorance no longer feels comfortable. It feels wrong. Heavy. So you move forward. Not fast, but steady. Not perfect, but aware. And that's enough. More than enough. Because awareness compounds. It grows. Every time you notice, you get sharper. Every time you pause, you get stronger. Every time you see clearly, you gain control. And control builds a different life. A life not based on reaction. Not based on repetition. But on choice. Real choice. Listen carefully. This is the truth. No one is coming to fix you. No system. No shortcut. No motivation video. Not even this one. This only showed you something. What you do with it is everything. Because knowledge, without awareness, is useless. You already knew many things, but you didn't notice them. Now you do. So now, you're responsible for your awareness, for your patterns, for your life. That's pressure, but also power. Because now, you're not guessing anymore. You're seeing, and seeing changes everything. Now decide. Do you go back to comfort, to distraction, to blindness? Or do you stay here in awareness, in observation, in control? There is no neutral. Every moment, you choose to notice or ignore, to observe or react, to evolve or repeat. And that choice never stops. Not tomorrow, not next week, but always now. This is your move, no one else's. Not your past, not your situation. Only you. Intense. You are the problem. The now. You are the solution. Not someday, not later. So choose. Say blind. Or finally see. Chapter 13. Final result. Your life didn't fall apart. You let it rot. Not because you're weak, but because you didn't see. You missed it. And again. And again. And now you're here. At the edge. Between who you were and who you could be. Listen carefully. This was never about motivation. Not discipline. Not habits. It was always this. Observation. The one thing you ignored. The one thing that controlled everything. You thought you were aware. You thought you understood your life. But you didn't. You saw pieces, not patterns. Moments, not systems. Reactions, not causes. And because of that, you stayed stuck. You're not stuck. You're repeating. Let that hit again. You're not stuck. You're repeating. Same thoughts. Same behaviors. Same outcomes. Different day. Same loop. And the worst part, you didn't notice. You lived inside it. Like it was normal. Like it was real. But it wasn't. It was filtered. Distorted. Incomplete. A version of reality built on what you failed to see. And now, that illusion is breaking. So, but permanently. Because once you see, you can't go back. You can try, but it won't feel the same. Ignorance won't feel comfortable anymore. Because now, you felt it. That moment where everything connected. Where you realized, this has been happening for a long time. Patterns, quite, repeating, controlling, and you missed them. Not once, but every day. Opportunities you didn't see. Signals you ignored. Behaviors you repeated. And all of it shaped your life. Without your awareness. Without your control. That's what blindness does. It steals your control without you noticing, and gives it to patterns, to habits, to unconscious reactions. That's who was running your life. Not you. Never you. But now, something changed. You stopped reacting. For a moment. You started noticing. Just a little. Just enough. And that small shift cracked everything. Because awareness doesn't stay small. It grows. It spreads. It forces you to see more. And more. And more. Until you can't ignore it. Until your identity starts breaking. Because the version of you that lived blindly can't survive awareness. It collapses. It has to. Because it was built on illusion. And illusion doesn't survive truth. Intense. You are the problem. Not your past. Not your situation. Not your luck. Your blindness. Your missed patterns. Your ignored signals. That's what built your life. And now, you see it. Not perfectly, but clearly enough. Enough to change. Enough to rebuild. Because this is the truth. You don't fix your life. You replace who you are. From blind to aware. From reactive to observant. From controlled to in control. That's the shift. Not external. Internal. Permanent. And it doesn't happen once. Perhaps every moment. Every decision. Every reaction. Every thought. You notice. Or you don't. You observe. Or you repeat. That's it. Simple. But not easy. Because awareness demands attention. Consistency. Honesty. And most people won't give that. They'll go back. Back to comfort. Back to distraction. back to blindness. Because it's easier. It feels safe. But it costs everything. Control, growth, change, loss, for comfort. But you've seen too much now. You can't fully go back. Even if you try, something will feel off. Because awareness is now part of you. And it won't stay quiet. It will whisper. Notice this. Watch that. Look deeper. And every time you listen, you evolve. A little. Then more. Then completely. Until one day, you're not the same person. Not because you tried harder, but because you saw clearer. And clarity changes everything. Listen carefully. This is not the end. It's the start of a different way of living. Where you don't rush. You observe. Where you don't assume. You notice. Where you don't react. You choose. And that choice builds a new life. Not instantly. Not magically. But inevitably. Because patterns can't control what you can see. That's your power. Not strength. Not effort. Awareness. Pure, consistent, unfiltered awareness. And with it, you take everything back. Your decisions. Your behavior. Your direction. Your life. Now decide. Not emotionally. Not impulsively. Clearly. Do you stay blind? Repeat everything again. And pretend you don't see? Or do you step forward? Into awareness? Into discomfort? Into control? And end this version of you? Because this version, the blind one, the reactive one, the repeating one, it's already breaking. Right now. As you listen. As you notice. As you understand. So don't stop here. Don't go back. Don't ignore this. Because you felt it. And that feeling is real. It's the beginning of seeing, of control, of change. This was never about observation. Not really. It was about this. Realizing you've been living blind. And now, you don't have to anymore. Now decide. Do you stay blind? Or finally start seeing? Because the truth is simple. Your life can't stay the same. So here's the question. What is one thing you've been ignoring that's controlling your life right now? Don't scroll. Don't escape. Answer it. Drop it in the comments. And if this opened your eyes, subscribe for more. Share this with someone who's still living blind. And comment. StarBeam Audiobook. If you're ready to see everything differently.